It's 11:52 on a Tuesday night, and you're sitting on the floor of a one-bedroom apartment you've rented for 6 years, staring at a number on your phone you've checked 1,000 times, but never quite believed. $1 million. 7 figures, a 1 and 6 zeros. You refresh the app once, twice, like the number might correct itself, like the market might take it back. It doesn't. As of this quiet, unremarkable Tuesday, you are a millionaire. And here's the strange part, the part nobody warns you about. You feel almost nothing you expected. No fireworks, no champagne. Just a slow, spreading quiet, and one clear thought that surprises you with its force. Nobody can ever know. Not your parents, not your best friend, not the coworker who sits 4 feet from you and complains about being broke every Friday. Because the moment they know, everything changes and you've sacrificed too much, stayed patient too long, to let it change now. By the end of this, you'll understand exactly how someone becomes quietly, invisibly rich, and why the ones who actually do it almost never tell a soul. Let's rewind, because the million didn't arrive tonight. It arrived over years you spent making yourself look like you had nothing at all. It started boring. It always starts boring. You were 24, earning a normal salary, and you did the one thing almost nobody does. You decided how much was enough, and then refused to let your spending grow past it. The raises came, and instead of upgrading your life, you upgraded your investments. Your friends got the new car. You kept the paid-off one with the scratch on the bumper. They moved somewhere nicer. You stayed put and let the difference get invested every month, automatically, before you could touch it. You packed lunches while they ordered out. You drove a car people felt a little sorry for. You wore the same coat 5 winters running. And the whole time, quietly, in an account you barely let yourself open, the number climbed slow at first, painfully slow, and then somewhere around year 7, faster than your own paycheck. That's the secret nobody teaches you. Compounding is invisible right up until it's enormous. For years it looks like nothing, then it looks like everything. There was a night that tested you. You stood in a store holding a watch that cost more than a month of your rent, and you wanted it not even for you, really, but for the version of you other people would see wearing it. You put it back. Not because you couldn't afford it, because you finally understood that the watch and the wealth were fighting over the same dollars, and only one of them could win. And nobody noticed any of it. That's the whole thing. Nobody ever notices the person quietly getting rich, because getting rich, done right, looks exactly like being ordinary. Then the number crossed $1 million, and you learned the first real rule of hidden wealth: the performance never stops. Because now you have something to protect, and the only way to protect it is to make sure no one knows it exists. So you keep clocking in. You keep grumbling about gas prices with the guys at work. You let a friend cover your coffee and thank him like it mattered when you could buy the entire cafe and never feel it. Every ordinary interaction becomes a tiny piece of theater, and you're both the actor and the only person in the audience who knows the truth. There's a specific kind of irony you live with now. You'll sit across from a coworker showing off a new leased SUV and a financed watch. A guy drowning quietly in payments to look like exactly the thing you secretly are, and you'll nod and admire it and say nothing. He's performing wealth he doesn't have. You're performing a poverty you left behind years ago. Only one of you is actually rich. And it's the one nobody would ever guess. Why go to all this trouble? Why not just enjoy it? Tell people, let them be happy for you. Because you've seen what happens. The instant money becomes visible, it stops being yours alone. It becomes a claim, something other people quietly feel entitled to a piece of. The friend who'd never ask for $50 will ask a millionaire for 5,000. The relative who kept their distance suddenly remembers your birthday. You stop being a person and start being a resource, a walking bank account. Everyone around you begins, consciously or not, running the math on. So you say nothing. And that silence buys the freedom, but it is not a small price. Because here's what starts to eat at the edges of you. You watch the people you love struggle with things you could erase in 4 seconds. Your mother frowning over a mortgage statement at the kitchen table. Your best friend stressed to the bone about rent, and you have the power to fix it right now. One transfer, done, and you don't. Not because you're cold, Because the moment you do, the truth slips out, and once it's out, it never goes back in. So you learn to help in the dark. Your mother's mortgage gets quietly paid down through a channel she'll never trace back to you. She calls you crying about a lucky break, and you act surprised, and you hate how good you've gotten at that. You help without credit, give without thanks, love people from behind a wall you built with your own hands, and slowly you realize the real cost of quiet wealth was never the frugal years. It's this, the distance, the fact that no one in your life fully knows you anymore, because the biggest true thing about you is the one thing you can never say. Then comes the night you almost blow it. You're out with people, a couple drinks in, and someone starts the game. Everyone plays, what would you do if you were rich? The loneliness has been sitting on your chest for months, and for one reckless second you want, more than anything, to just be known. So you say something a little too specific. A little too sure. Honestly, I'd never tell anyone, not one person. And someone at the table goes quiet and looks at you a half second too long. That's weirdly specific, they say, half joking. You laugh it off, change the subject, but you drive home with your heart hammering, replaying that one sentence 20 times because you just learned the scariest rule of all. The truth doesn't have to be spoken to be dangerous. A tone, a look, one line said with too much conviction. People are sharper than you ever gave them credit for, back when you had nothing worth hiding. After that, you get careful in a way that's almost a second personality, a slightly duller, more forgettable version of you that never says anything memorable enough to repeat. And you understand, finally, that secrecy isn't a decision you make once. It's a discipline you practice every single day, for the rest of your life. There's a number you sit with sometimes at 2 a.m. Your investments now earn more while you sleep than you make at your job all week. Money you'll never see, doing work you'll never do, growing behind a wall nobody knows is there. It should feel triumphant. Mostly, it just feels surreal, because you're still checking grocery prices out of 11 years of habit, standing in a kitchen that looks like anyone's. So why do it? After all of it, the frugal years, the silence, the loneliness, the constant guard, why is this the life you chose? Because of what the money actually is. Not a Ferrari, not a watch, not a house that impresses strangers who forget it by lunch. It's something quieter and infinitely more valuable. It's options. The ability to walk out of a job that's killing you and not blink. To take 3 months off when someone you love gets sick. To say no to a bad boss, a bad deal, a life you don't want without fear. To sleep through the night while half the country lies awake doing math. That's what you were building the whole time. Not a pile of money. A life that can't be taken from you. And here's what you know now that the guy in the leased SUV never will. Real wealth is silent, because the entire point of it is that you no longer need anyone to see it. The person screaming money with everything they own is usually the one with the least. The person you'd never look at twice, the quiet one, the boring car, the same old coat, is very often the one who actually made it. You became one of them on purpose. So you sit on the floor of that same small apartment, a millionaire nobody knows, and the feeling that finally arrives isn't loneliness, and it isn't triumph. It's something steadier. It's peace, the kind that doesn't need an audience, built one boring, invisible, disciplined choice at a time. While everyone around you was busy looking rich, you quietly went and became it. But there's one question left, and it's been sitting behind your ribs since the number first crossed 7 figures. The wall that protects everything you built is the same wall that keeps you from ever being fully known. So here's what I want you to answer, honestly, in the comments. If you quietly became a millionaire tomorrow, the number real, nobody in your life with any idea, would you finally tell the people you love? Or would you do what almost every quiet millionaire actually does, and let the silence protect it for 1 more year? Hit like if you'd keep it to yourself, and subscribe, because next time we're putting you inside another life most people only dream about and asking what you'd really do.